Hello and welcome back to Top 10 Places. If you find yourself in need of some natural inspiration, then you've come to the right place. In today's video, we are taking a look at some of the world's most incredible natural wonders that will take your breath away every time. From mountains that look like they've been painted in massive brushstrokes, to oceans so reflective that they act as giant mirrors. The world is filled with some pretty awe-inspiring places. And our number one spot is a fjord so magical, you'll think you've stepped into another world. Before we get into the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and be sure to let us know which of these places is your favorite in the comments below. So without further ado, let's get into it. Number 10. The Dead Sea. At 1,410 feet below sea level, the Dead Sea is the world's lowest body of water. Of all places, it's located in a desert and features an incredibly high concentration of salt that makes it an excellent place to float. The water itself is beautiful enough on its own, but it's the hundreds of salt deposits that rise out of the water that give the Dead Sea its signature, otherworldly appearance. Ages ago, the saltwater lagoon was connected to the Mediterranean Sea, but the movement of the Arabian and African tectonic plates shifted the land between the Dead Sea, causing the Mediterranean to rise. As a result, the Dead Sea's supply of ocean water was cut off, leaving it completely landlocked. The sea is fed by water from freshwater springs and aquifers, and thanks to its lack of outflow, water gathers in the Dead Sea only to evaporate shortly after. What's left behind is copious amounts of salting. And it's not called the Dead Sea for nothing. The high concentration of salt in this body of water makes it almost entirely uninhabitable. You shouldn't expect to find plants, fish, or birds in or around the Dead Sea for miles. It's nothing but crystal clear, extremely salty water. There are also no water vehicles on the Dead Sea, nor are there any waves. Despite its desolate nature, the Dead Sea is a stunning destination, one that seems to have been pulled directly from another utopian planet. Number 9. Zanji Dancxia Landform Geological Park. Located in Gansu, China, this incredible natural landform looks like a painter's study of a landscape rather than any kind of natural formation. Dancxia refers to a special kind of landscape found in the southwestern areas of China. The striped, colourful mountains are made up of hundreds of layers of rock and minerals, which were disrupted when tectonic plates caused the island, which is now India, to collide with the rest of the prehistoric Eurasia continent. Also known as the eye candy of Zanji, many artists admire this masterpiece of nature thanks to its incredibly colourful, vibrant appearance. The landscape is characterised by hundreds of precipitous red cliffs, most of which are several hundred meters high, as well as its multicolored ridges of weathered strata that often stretch to the horizon. Sometimes sharp, sometimes smooth, these formations stand out amongst the greys and greens of the plains, offering an exquisite natural contrast that you won't find anywhere else. The Dancxia was formed by the erosion of red sandstone, which eventually led to the formation of steep stratified outcrops and isolated peaks. The area's unique geological structure, as well as its long-term desert conditions, freeze-thaw peeling, and wind and water erosion, gave rise to its current appearance. Number 8. The Tagalog Rice Terrace. Indonesia is known for its terraced rice fields, but the Tagalog Terrace takes the cake when it comes to the most beautiful. Entering the vibrant green landscape with its towering palm trees that make you feel like you've entered the land of giants, time stops in Tagalog. Farmers here make use of centuries-old irrigation systems to maintain the rice fields, and as you walk through them, you can almost feel the ancient history of the area. Ubud is one of the most well-known regions in Bali amongst international travelers, and the area is largely considered the greenest part of the country thanks to its abundance of natural tourist attractions. Other than the incredible rice fields of Tagalog, the region is home to ridge walks, lush forests, and more rice terraces whose beauty rivals that of Tagalog. The subject of this entry, Tagalog, is located in a valley that boasts some incredibly scenic views over the terraces and the surrounding lush landscape. Along with those found in the villages of Kampuhan and Beijing, the Tagalanglang rice fields form three of the most stunning terrace landscapes in the Ubud region. Number 7. Rhonisfjara Beach. While it might not be the best place to catch a tan, what with its black sand beaches and near constant overcast weather, Rhonisfjara Beach in Iceland is still well worth the visit. This incredible beach looks as though it's from another world, thanks to its black sand, basalt salt columns, and the fact that it is often obscured in a cloud of fog. If you're lucky enough, you might even be able to see the northern lights from the shores of the beach. The pitch-black sand of Rhonisfjara is formed from Icelandic volcanic activity. When molten lava comes into contact with the nearby ocean water, it rapidly cools and shatters into tiny fragments of basalt, the same mineral that makes up the signature peaks of the beach. Speaking of, the 340-meter-tall mountain with the hexagonal-shaped basalt columns on Rhonisfjara Beach is called Rhonisfjell. If you've seen some of our other videos, then these columns might look familiar to you. They're the same kind of formation found at the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland. However, unlike the causeway, there's some greenery atop the mountain, and if you're careful enough, the mountain can be scaled up and down in just a few minutes. According to local Icelandic legend, 2 sea stacks just off the coast of Rhonisfjara were once trolls attempting to snatch a ship from the ocean. But they persisted too late, and when dawn broke, the trolls turned into stone. Number 6. Monteverde Cloud Forest. Costa Rica is internationally recognized for its natural exuberance. This tiny country boasts 5% of the world's biodiversity, which may seem like a small percentage at first, but in the grand scheme of planet Earth, it's huge. Every year the country attracts tourists from around the world, but there's one place that always draws in the most sightseers: the Monteverde Cloud Forest. Monteverde is known throughout the world for protecting one of the most pristine cloud forests on the planet. Cloud forests are extremely unique ecosystems, as they represent less than 1% of the remaining forests on the surface of the planet. Due to its location on the continental divide atop the Cordillera Tetelleran, Monteverde is surrounded by beautiful mountains in every shade of green imaginable. As with most things, Monteverde didn't get its name for nothing. The frequent incidence of cloudiness in this region makes you feel as though you're truly in the clouds. Filling up your lungs with pure air and being able to appreciate the incredible landscapes with your own eyes is just part of what makes the Monteverde Cloud Forest so special. In this otherworldly forest, you'll find more than 3,200 species of plant, including 500 orchid species and 700 species of trees. There are around 425 bird species, 60 species of amphibians, 120 mammal species, and 101 species of reptiles. In short, there's plenty to see, or not see depending on the cloudiness, in the Monteverde Cloud Forest. Liking the video so far? Be sure to give it a thumbs up down below, and consider subscribing to the channel. Number 5. The White Sands National Monument. New Mexico's White Sands National Monument is the largest deposit of gypsum in the world, and is a serene expanse of white, glittering sand. It's located in the Chihuahuan, yes, like the dog breed, desert, and the gypsum that forms these gently sloping dunes comes from a nearby ephemeral lake that features a particularly high mineral content. As the water in this lake evaporates, minerals are left behind, which later form gypsum deposits that are carried to the desert on the wind. In 1870, the White Sands dune field was already on the area of scientific interest. In the same year, the first published research on the signature stark sands of the monument appeared in scientific journals. Perhaps the most unique aspect of the White Sands is that they're not white at all. Gypsum is a clear substance, but to the human eye, it appears white. So when you're walking on the white dunes of this national monument, know that your eyes are playing tricks on you. What you're actually walking on is an almost invisible substance. The gypsum grains crash into one another when the wind blows, causing scratches all over their surface, which under the sun's rays appear to be white. And while the area does seem to be entirely desolate, it does harbour some animal life. Many of the creatures that call the white sands their home are invertebrates like spiders, insects, crustaceans, and more. Perhaps the most famous animal to inhabit the park is the wild oryx, which comes all the way from East Africa. It's a species of antelope with 34-inch long horns, and more than 3,000 of them inhabit the White Plains. You'll also find humans in the region. Human inhabitants in the White Sands region date back over 10,000 years, and today you'll find miners, farmers, and ranchers in the area. Number 4. The Marble Caves. In the Patagonia of Lake General Carrera in Chile lies a natural wonder that truly has to be seen to be believed. Also known as the Marble Cathedral, Chile's marble caves were created some 6,000 years ago by waves that eroded the rocks. The stunning colors of the cavern are the result of millennia of erosion, and the colors vary depending on the water levels throughout the year. The pathways in the marble cave are narrow and can thus only be explored by kayaks or small water vessels. If you decide to visit this location, you'll find tour operators in the remote, tiny town of Puerto Rio Tranquilo nearby who will provide boats and kayaks. They sail in and around the caves, offering a comprehensive view of all of the wonders of this natural monument. Perhaps the most amazing thing about these caves is that they change color depending on the season, as well as how high or low the water is. This is because the marble of the caves reflects colors from the water. Since the nearby glaciers do not melt until the months of November through February, the water is not as high, making the colors appear less vibrant. If you visit in the spring, you'll notice softer navy blue hues. But visit when the glaciers melt, you'll see vibrant shades of pink, white, and cobalt blue. Number 3. The Verdon Gorge. The blue-green waters of France's Verdon Gorge makes for a picturesque setting for all kinds of aquatic activities, from kayaking to swimming and snorkeling. Interestingly, the area of what we now know as the gorge used to be entirely underwater, though this was about 250 million years ago. After years of compression of the sea floor, coral and seashells began to build up on top of each other, eventually forming the region's signature limestone rocks. After millions of years of erosion, tectonic activity, and glacier melting, we're left with the peaks of the Verdon Gorge today, which are now often used for rock climbing. The gorge's cliffs are hundreds of meters high and make for a thrilling location for multi-pitch climbing. As for Verdon Gorge's water, it has a striking turquoise color that you'll rarely find anywhere else. The water gets its signature color from microscopic particles called glacial flour, which, when brought into contact with the water's algae, produces a vibrant green color. Number 2. The Fairy Pools. The enchanting fairy pools in the Isle of Skye in Scotland look like they were drawn by a fantasy novelist, and to add to their otherworldly quality is the fact that they can only be accessed on foot via the Glen Brittle Forest. But if you're willing to make the hiking journey, you'll be rewarded richly with stunning views of the naturally clear waters of the fairy pools. Legend says that someone spotted magical fairies taking a bath in the waters here, which is how the fairy pools got their name. In reality, the fairy pools are a water phenomenon in Glen Brittle, featuring a vivid blue colour that makes it a famed destination for swimmers who love frosty water. Adding to the area's storybook nature are the many animal species that call this place their home. At the fairy pools, you'll find creatures like rabbits, sheep, and red deer. There is also an abundance of birds in the area, such as common ringed plovers, turnstones, meadow pipits, grey herons, and dunlins. If you're ever in the Isle of Skye, the Fairy Pools is a must-see destination, if there ever was one. Number 1. The Garang Fjord. And last, but most certainly not least, is the Garang Fjord in Norway. The best way to describe a fjord is as an underwater valley. Formed by glaciers, these long and narrow waterways are incredibly deep and are surrounded on all sides by steep mountains. When it comes to fjords, the Garang Fjord is by far and away the best of the best. The fjord is a whopping 260 meters deep, while the surrounding mountains are around 1,700 meters high. Of all of the Norwegian tourist destination, the Garang Fjord is by far the most visited, most often by cruise ships. However, if you'd prefer to take matters into your own hands, Then you can also hike, cycle, raft, kayak, and even fish in the area. 2 main waterfalls sit opposite one another in the fjord, with a third close by forming the illusion of a vale. A neighbouring mountain of the fjord called Akanaset has the potential to devastate the area by causing an island tsunami, thanks to significant cracks that are formed in the rock over the years. So if you plan on visiting the Garang Fjord, better sooner than later. The fjord has been under threat of decimation for quite some time now. That's all, folks. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button down below and consider subscribing to the channel. Which of these natural wonders was your favourite? Let us know in the comments section below. If you want to be notified when we post a new top 10 list, then hit the bell icon down below. Until next time, au revoir.